trending topics.
Good everyone, and to all Filipinos who are live watching our program. I am Maria Lourdes Ardo-Galea. Today we're going to talk about Chapter 8, CSR Standards and Corporate Ethical Virtues, a normative inquiry into the way corporations integrate stakeholders' expectations. Together with my partner, RJ Election.
Thank you, partner. So, for your warm welcoming. And I'm RJ Election, gladly to present Chapter 8. Now, let's begin.
Today, we're going to evaluate the principles of three most prominent CSR standards and guidelines. First, global reporting initiatives. Second, United Nations Global Compact. And lastly is ISO 26000.
With a growing concern of both corporations and their stakeholders toward social responsibility reporting, CSR standards or guidelines have become a common point of reference for practitioners, regulating bodies, and scholars alike. Some of the CSR standards and guidelines are the United Nations Global Compact or UNGC, ISO 26000, and Global Reporting Initiative or GRI.
Such guidelines support corporations in a way: first, setting goals, measuring performance, and managing change, like global reporting initiatives or GRI. Second, encourage them to integrate corporate performance in relation to society into overall evaluations of corporate performance, like the ISO 26000. Third, they are generally aimed at assisting corporations to contribute to sustainable development by providing a common framework for implementation and disclosure of sustainability principles and practices, such as United Nations Global Compact or UNGC.
But here's the question: do the reporting principles and criteria advanced by these standards indeed contribute to embedding stakeholders' concerns into corporate operations?
To answer that question, we posit that we need to make a step behind and look into those corporate aspects which are responsible for the overall corporate performance, including sustainability, and which exert a strong influence on the way corporations relate to stakeholder expectation.
Since corporations are responsible for designing these practices, which further enable, constrain, and shape individual action, and therefore influence the way stakeholders' expectations are integrated within corporate performance.
We highlight the 7 ethical virtues which represent dimensions of ethical culture according to the Corporate Ethical Virtues or CEV model. The 7 model are clarity, consistency, achievability, supportability, visibility, discussability, and sanctionability. So, next is, are you ready to present our presentation, partner? The most challenging part of this topic?
Yes, partner.
Okay, let's begin. So, just stay tuned, guys, and watch our presentation.
These are the several findings from research in business ethics concerning the
corporate context
plays in generating unethical behavior in the workplace, acknowledging that the main driver for conduct lies in the corporate context. Davis and Frederick, 1984, was perceived as an active element in the decision-making process, for it may either stimulate or constrain employees to act morally or immorally. Captain and Wem 2002 is built up by corporate practices which include the tasks, responsibilities, and procedures, the corporate structure or formal dimension, as well as the expectations, norms, and values, the corporate culture or informal dimension, that are actually expressed in the actions.
the dirty hands dimension of the corporate ethical content.
points to the dilemma faced by corporations to satisfy the legitimate expectations and interests of all of its stakeholders even when they are mutually conflicting or go against corporate interests. Item. A proper resolution for the dirty hands dilemma would involve a corporate effort to find and develop those characteristics of the corporate context that help to avoid an unjustified infringement of stakeholder interests.
The corporate ethical virtues model.
Captain terms such corporate moral characteristics as virtues or qualities, and positions them as desirable. When a corporation achieves the C qualities completely, one can label it as an ethical corporation. Captain 1998, p. 58.
Embedding the corporate virtues into CSR standards.
The CSR strategy issued by the European Commission in 2011 specifically encourages corporations to adhere by 2014 to a core set of CSR guidelines and principles, among which INCAND ISO 26000 are mentioned.
Research method
Used for evaluating the way the three CSR standards and guidelines embed the ethical virtues is content-based.
From the corporate ethical virtues model to STR standards.
Clarity
Is the first virtue of the SEV model and concerns the extent to which the corporation's moral expectations from its employees are expressed accurate, concrete, comprehensive, and understandable. Captain and Wemp, 2002, K. Aptine 2011. Vagueness and ambiguity of moral expectations constitute a main source of unethical conduct within organizations. Tyler and Blader, 2005.
Consistency
Refers to the way in which corporate moral expectations regarding employee behavior are coherent, univocal, and compatible. Captain and Wemp, 2002.
Achievability
Is the corporate virtue which acknowledges that moral expectations set out by corporations must be in line with the capability of employees to live up to them. Captain and Wemp, 2002, Captain 2011. It concerns the degree to which corporations enable employees to meet such expectations. Captain and Wemp, 2002, by providing sufficient time, budgets, equipment, information, and authority to fulfill their ethical responsibilities. Captain 2011.
Supportability
Concerns the extent to which employees are encouraged to recognize and realize the legitimate expectations and interests of stakeholders. Captain 1998. Captain and Wemp, 2002. It refers to the commitment of managers and employees to behave ethically. Captain 2008. And the extent to which the corporation fosters or hinders such commitment.
Visibility
Is the corporate virtue pertaining to the degree to which employ unethical behavior and its consequences are manifest to those who can take a stance. Captain and Wemp, 2002, Captain 2008.
Discussability
concerns the openness to discuss ethical dilemmas, as it is perceived by employees. Captain 2011. When employees can openly talk about ethics, unethical behavior is less frequent. Trevino et al. 1999.
Sanctionability
concerns the extent to which employees are likely to be punished for irresponsible conduct and rewarded for responsible behavior. Captain and Wemp 2002-56, either in a formal or informal way. Integrating stakeholder expectations. How do the CSR principles pertaining to the 3 standards help corporations? Some the 7 ethical virtues proposed by the SEV model, and in this way stimulate employees to balance the interests of stakeholders against those of the corporation and respond to the dirty hands dilemma. We answer this question by first analyzing the extent to which each CSR standard embeds the virtues discussed in the previous section, together with their relevance, and then we discuss from a normative perspective the way ethical virtues enable corporations to integrate stakeholder expectations.
Level of embedding the virtues.
Relevance of embedded virtues and cross-reporting. The ethical virtue of visibility is most embedded by the 3 standards, followed by clarity. GRI 4 is most centered on the virtue of visibility. ISO 26000 best embeds visibility, discussability, and sanctionability. UNGC emphasizes clarity. Corporations aiming for a status of integrity should consider cross-reporting, namely, reporting based on several standards, including section link among them. Cross-reporting helps corporations focus better on a broader array of issues and place more importance on multiple topics over which they will finally report. Corporations should focus on evaluating their performance from a 360 perspective through cross-reporting by using tools provided by multiple standards.
Virtues and stakeholder expectations.
Are the virtues from CEV model a necessary point of reference in relation to ETHICS guidelines and standards in view of integrating stakeholder expectations and responding to the dirty hands dilemma? Yes, as long as we speak of corporate performances and as long as these performances are significantly influenced by the corporate culture in which employees work. It is important to provide them with the appropriate guidelines to deal with such issues. Empirical research conducted by Captain 1998 supports this idea, as it found that in lack of a clear normative framework to which employees have to refer, the doors to unethical behavior are opened. In order to speak of corporate integrity, we need to have 2 distinct sets of values: the virtues and the reporting standards. The virtues provide the framework for corporate action, while the reporting guidelines outline specific content-related criteria that corporations should meet in their daily operations so as to successfully integrate stakeholder concerns.
So that's the end of our presentation. Kita-kita tayo ulit. Same time, same vibes!
Thank you!